There we go. We should be live. There is a lot of background noise right now because I have a air conditioner and a dehumidifier going. So that's fun. So anyway, let me go turn the dehumidifier down. We're down below 40% inside now, so we'll be right back and then we'll get started. Whew, I bumped the microphone, my bad. Well, I lied. We were at 55% humidity, which is fine. As long as it was 85 when I walked in. Ooh, so nice. Okay. So let's get situated here. So let me make sure the stream is up. We have it set to live chat, not just top chats. Looks like the stream is live. Yes, it is. Cool. All right. So where I last left off, I got a super basic implementation of placing upgrades working. I love the theme. That's good. So if we go to Bilbo Swaggins' ship wholesale, let's go to customize our ship. And then you can see here, we just have this shopper upgrades. So, and then it brings up a basic window that shows you what the upgrade is, as well as what it does. What's the name of it? Well, how does it look? What does it actually do to your ship? What does it cost in terms of both mass and price? And yeah, so then it took me about an hour last night to figure out why I wasn't clicking on it. And fun fact, Godot uses its control nodes, and there's a mouse filter property. And for some reason, the mouse filter property on the rich text label was like basically capturing it and ignoring the input rather than letting the actual panel itself capture it. So that was fun. Anyway, so now once I pick one of these, so say for example, if I want this thing to go even faster, like if I want it to accelerate faster, so it automatically adds it to here. And then I'm going to have to place it on the ship. And you can see that the color of it changes when it gets on the ship, which is kind of a cool little feature. So it looks like the mouse tracking appears to get, it's not quite exact, which is fine. But anyway, I'm going to place it, let's just say like right there. Bam. So now you can see we've placed the upgrade on the ship. It's visible, just like weapons are. Okay, cool. Awesome. Now, here's the next thing. I have to actually implement it. So based on right now, it's applying it to this ship in this viewport here, which is just an instance. But I'm not actually updating the files of the game or any sort of state that matters. So as soon as I hit done on this window, this goes away. None of this changes applied. It doesn't even take any money away or apply mass. I just have it place the placing part. So now it's time to get the rest of it working. And then on top of that, including on the placing part, there's a few problems that I still have yet to solve. So one of them is, let's just pick another upgrade here. So I'm going to pick the rotational thruster, right? And this is even more out of whack. See how it's like not on my cursor? It's not where my cursor is. I need to fix that too. So if we look, you can see, yeah, it's not on my cursor at all. Weird. Okay. So it is detecting some sort of collision here, which is interesting. So there must be something here that is detecting that. I can't tell if it's... Yeah, weird. I wonder if I still have the old... So see how that I was able to just apply that in the middle of nowhere? So that's something that we don't want. So let's go back. I'm going to leave. I'm going to close out of this. Let's take a look at our ships, because one thing I did... Where's my ships? Shipyard. Here we go. Ships. So let's take a look at that Synthocracy luxury shuttle. If we take a look at the scene here, you should see it shouldn't really detect any collision right here. However, I think it's still actually applying this old collision polygon here from the old collision shape. And that's no bueno, because I have it hidden here, which in theory should disable it, but it's not working. So I'm going to delete this old node, and then all of these old light occluders. Now that I've verified that the game works with just one light occluder, how I have it, I don't need these anymore. So now I'm going to just run through all of my ships real quick. I'm going to clean up these old nodes that don't need to be there. I'm going to save that. So I did luxury shuttle. Let's just start at the top of my list here, and then we will just work our way. So this old collision shape, this one has to go. Delete. And then these light occluders, these can go. Bam. And we shall save. Close. Coalition Crusader. This one's got a lot. So this is the old polygon. This is not ideal. We can get rid of that because we have this newer one here. And then I'm just going to delete that node. Then now we have a bunch of light occluders that are not needed anymore. We can delete those. And if I cared, I could rename this to just be Light Occluder 2D instead of Light Occluder 2D 9, but I really don't care. It's functional. I'm not going to be too picky about it. That's fine. Close that. Coalition Firewall. So again, we're going to delete this polygon. No longer need that. And this one had even more light occluders. We're going to delete these bad boys. Oh, actually, no. I need to delete more. Right there. Bam. Delete all of them. They are now gone. Save. Close. Coalition Freighter. I still got more ships to add too, so maybe I might add some more ships later on, but I want to get... I have enough ships to play with. I want to keep adding the core features of the game and get all of that finalized before I start adding... because it seems like every time I make a change, I have to go through here and redo all my ships again, which is not fun. So I am just going to stick with what I've got for now, get the core systems working, and then once I get that done, that vertical slice of the game where everything works, then I can start expanding outward and doing all the rest of the stuff. That's the plan anyway. We'll see what I do, because I might just encounter some pitfall that I want to refactor all of my code again for like the 8th time. I spent a lot of time on this game just refactoring old code, and I'm realistically, I don't think I'm making it any better. I just keep confusing myself. Coalition Spearhead, so we're going to get rid of this polygon. No longer need that. Go here, we can delete these polygons, these occluders. Save that bad boy, close. Coalition Tomahawk, this one had some funky ones. Yeah, so we can get rid of this polygon. And then get rid of those. Save. Look at that. We're almost all the way through all of our ships. Perfect. Ship template. I mean, I probably should update a lot of this stuff here. Like, this is just a template to just get, like, something going. And I would just, you know, I would basically update it as needed. But yeah, pretty rough. I'm not going to save this one. Just don't save. In fact, I think I have a lot of stuff I have to do to it still. I might look at that one later, but that's fine for now. Okay. Got email from Spectrum. Exclusive offer. How about an offer to leave me the hell alone? I'm paying you, you're giving me internet. That's the extent of our business relationship. Piss off, right? All right, let's go drone carrier. So, this old shape, that is bad. Let's get rid of that. And then all these light occluders. I had 16 light occluders or 15 on this thing. Delete. Gone. Save. Look at that. We are making progress. So let's delete this one. We're over halfway through our ships, I think. And then we have to delete these occluders. Okay. Save. Close. Docracy shuttle. This is your starter ship. This was the original shape I had for it. That's funny. And 4 occluders on this one. Wow, okay. Deleted, save. Get rid of that. Docracy transport. This is a big old ship. We're going to get rid of... That shape was not bad, but it's not ideal either. So we'll get rid of that. We'll get rid of these occluders. So I think when I get to the part where I need to figure out how to avoid stacking upgrades and weapons on top of each other, I think I might try to pick Claude's brain on that. I'm going to try to use AI to see if... Because I'm realistically not sure how I would accomplish that. Maybe it has some ideas that can point me in the right direction for that. But I'll just see what Claude says, and I'll research it, and if it's viable, I might do it. And if it's not, well, at least it gives me something I can maybe think on or move in the right direction of some sort. It might even spark an idea that I didn't think of before that, while it might not be correct from how AI presents it, could be a viable alternative once I dig into it. So I think I saved that, yeah. And then we'll do Syntocracy Freighter. We'll get rid of that. Get rid of all of these. Delete. Save. Did I get rid of the... I did. Okay. Just want to make sure I got... I don't remember getting rid of the first collision polygon on that one. So I'm gonna save that, and then we're gonna go into Syntocracy Freighter. I just did that one because it only has one. Syntocracy Frigate, we're almost done. We're on the home stretch. Get this, remove these 5 light occluders because we only have one now because we're a gangster. There we go. Syntocracy Heavy Freighter. We're going to get rid of the old shape. We're going to get rid of the 5 occluders that were on this one. Save. Close. Heavy Freighter. Get rid of here. Check this one out. This was how what the old shape was. I didn't even have this stuff on here. I was like, I don't want to make this shape any more complex than it has to be. I don't know. Now it's perfect. Get rid of that. And then this one had what, 10 occluders? We can get rid of that. All just 1 occluder. Save. Close. 3 more ships. Actually 2 more because I've already done one of them. We're going to get rid of that one. And then these. We're going to get rid of that as well. Save. So the light fighter. This is our last ship. And then we're going to get rid of that. Save. Okay, cool. So now if we run the game, we should be able to go into the shipyard, customize our ship, shop for upgrades. I should be able to take an upgrade. And I should be able to, yeah. So interesting, it was doing that, even though that collision polygon was set to be like visible, was set to false, which for most things in Godot, that disables it. Wow. It sort of makes it like not factor in any things, but in here it was actually still being used by the Area 2D. So you can see now we actually have to be, it has to be on the ship in some form. So ideally, I want the entire sprite to be inside the ship. That's one thing that I want to figure out. The next thing is I want to make it so that we can't just stack upgrades. So you see, I put that one upgrade on there. If I put this one on here, you know, I don't want to have to like, I don't want to stack it there as well, because that looks like poo-poo. Don't like that. And yeah, so I don't want to be able to just stack a ton of upgrades on the same spot. That's not a good look. So yeah, don't want to do that. On top of that, I also don't want to be able to, so I started thinking about how I was going to implement this, but you should only be able to apply each of these upgrades once, not multiple times. Otherwise I could just keep cranking up my my speed, and I could tack it on here. I could crank it up again. I could tack it on here. I mean, I could put it everywhere, right? So let's say I put it back here. Bam. So now I have this goofy looking ship that the weapons are covered by the upgrade, which looks weird. Don't like that. So I want to be able to prevent you from stacking upgrades and weapons on top of each other. So I have to be able to figure that out. I think I can make that one work easily. The one I'm not sure about is making sure that the entire sprite is inside the inside of the like collision shape. Because I want it to be inside the ship, because I don't want to be able to do stuff like this to where you can just sort of dangle it off the side. Like that looks silly, right? That this this poor ship does not look cool anymore. Not like it did before, because my art style kind of sucks, but this looks like trash, right? This is dumb. So we don't want to do that. So, and we also have to still have it make it apply the upgrades. So right now, I still have to fix a bug too, to where it looks like I can go over my max speed, which is not good. So I still have to fix that. So exit. Let's go back to my main scene, which is like where I have a lot of my stuff, but mainly at the top of it, I just have a sort of like a working README in a way for the code. So yeah, so let's go. Oh yeah, I also disabled my mouse cursor because the one I had was pretty rough. So I just reverted it back to default for now. And then let's see, got placement working. Still have to work out how to handle required tags. Got to do that. Need to prevent overlapping in, yeah, I gotta figure that out. Also prevent purchasing upgrades multiple times. I think I got that one started to be figured out. And then once that's done, do something similar for weapons. So bugs to be fixed. Luxury shuttle can exceed max speed. No bueno. Right? Not good. And I think the reason why is just because its acceleration speed is so fast, and the way that I'm doing the calculation on the ship. So in process, this whole thing here where I am basically determining like if we're boosting and, you know, if, let's see, so boost, and then we are making sure that we're not exceeding our final max speed. If we are, then we're just trying to slow it down gradually rather than just hard capping it. So then I just have this arbitrary thing called cap speed. And if I crank this number up, it cannot exceed max speed. But if I need to make this something maybe relative to what, to like the total speed maybe. I don't know. But yeah, I'm going to put a big old fat to do here. This is the cause of the overspeed bug. I'll just put that there. Because when I change this to something like 5, that ship doesn't do it anymore. So I need to rethink this entire calculation here, because it's definitely not doing, it's not up to speed, basically. It's not, what's the word I'm looking for? What's the phrase? It's not comprehensive. It doesn't check all the boxes. It doesn't do everything. There's hidden ways to break it. It needs to be more well thought out. So yeah, but I'm gonna do that later. I want to focus on adding this feature for now. At the moment, this is not a game-breaking bug, so I'm not gonna focus on it for now. But I do have it in bugs to be fixed. Luxert, luxury. There we go. Save that. So let's tackle required tags first. So in my upgrade selection window, when we have a choice clicked, we are emitting a signal. But what? Hang on a second here. Oh, actually, in our ready function where we are creating the buttons, we need to determine if, first of all, do we even have the required mass to house this upgrade? So we're already handling that. And then we need to determine, can we afford this upgrade financially? Do we have the required funds to be able to purchase this upgrade? So if we don't, we're basically setting the disabled text variable of our little, I should have named this button instead of UI, but our little button that we're putting in that list, I'm setting that disabled text, which once that's set, disabled text will show this cover that shows that it's like disabled and you can't click it. It will ignore input. So I also have a to-do here to determine if our ship has the required tags. So we have access to player data now. Let's take a look at what that looks like. So if we look at, it's just our ship save method here. So basically we're saving the player data from the player ship. And we're only doing that for the player instance. So yeah, so we're not storing the tags anywhere on the ship. So what I think we should do is we have upgrades, I have a to-do, and then we'll also store tags. So I'm going to say tags, and we're just going to set tags. And tags, I believe, is an array of strings, is basically what it is. So I'm going to get rid of that trailing comma, save. So if we go back up to the top of this massive ass script, somewhere I do have tags declared, but it's not actually set. So this is an array. So I'm going to put will be set in ready, because the tags I'm not storing on the scene itself. I'm storing in a dictionary of all of my ships. So if we go to ships.gd, you can see I'm listing every single ship that we have here. And I'm storing some data about it, what the description of it is, like what appears in the like info box, like the history of the ship or whatever, right? The path to the actual scene, what factions this ship belongs to. So basically this is like what factions can purchase this ship. So because some of these ships down here, you can see we also have independent, which is just no faction. So independent can also purchase the Synthocracy transport, but however, only the Harmonious Synthocracy can purchase this Synthocracy frigate. So warships they're not offered to randos, right? And then, so here we're also storing what kind of tags we have. So all of our tags has, first of all, what tag, basically what type of ship it is. Currently I have 4 types. I have fighters, freighters, cruisers, and carriers. I may add other types such as like support. I think I might add a support type because, oh, what a day at work. Hang on. Getting the yawns out of the way with. I do eventually want to have a support type ship that doesn't necessarily target enemies. It targets allies, and it can perform various helpful things such as, you know, maybe it's just a cargo drone or something like that, and it just flies with you and holds cargo for you. That could be cool. Or it is like a repair drone or a repair ship that actively heals hull damage, or maybe something that like recharges your shields during combat, like some sort of support ships, because those could also be deployed. Those can make combat more interesting in theory. I have yet to test it, but it's something I eventually want to add. And then you have other tags like this tag has electrical components, also has mechanical components, and it is a ship. So basically, if I try to add like a mechanical upgrade to a ship that is a biological ship, that's not going to work. So tags are important. So we have to make sure that the tags, that your current ship has the required tags. And what the required tags are defined in our upgrades. So you can see we have the tags of the upgrade itself, and then what tags are required for this. I just learned how to make models of planets orbiting in Desmos, and I am pumped to use it to teach physics next year. Really? Because I was doing some thinking about how, when it comes time to start cranking out a lot of the art for the game, I was thinking about how I was going to do the art for the actual like locations. Because right now, when you go to a location, when you land, it just has this blurb of text that no one reads, and it just has some buttons in the side. What I eventually want to have is I want to have a picture somewhere on this. This whole layout's going to change, but I want to have a picture somewhere of like the actual planet that you're on. And like, because visual is much better than text in modern day and age. Like, no one's going to read text unless I'm making a text only game and people are going for that experience. So I might have to check out Desmos. Is that what it's called? Desmos? Seems like it might be a cool tool. Maybe I can like whip up some planets and make screenshots with it. That's awesome though. Make models of planets orbiting in Desmos. Nice. And to teach physics next year. Damn. That's a lofty goal. Good job. Hell yeah. So let's jump back to the code. So we have the tags. We already know what required tags our ship has to have, but now we need to actually get what tags our ship does have. So with our save, it might have already taken effect actually, because so tags is declared its empty value upon declaration. But if we go to our ready, we need to, where are we getting our tags? Or is our tags set by main when it's creating us? I wonder. So let's go to, what is it, spawn ship? So there is a helper function called spawn ship. So whenever we're spawning other ships, we're setting their name and their tags before they're even added to the scene. So those are set. What about the player? So if we do setup space scene, this is where we're setting everything up. We have parallax background. We have mouse area 2D thing, which is some jank thing I threw together. We have our star. We have our locations. Then we have player ship. Player ship load. We're loading the scene from our save data. We're setting it to be true. We are adding, where are we adding our tags? Are we even adding our tags? So we're adding all of this stuff from our player data. I see some commented out stuff that I can probably get rid of. So we don't need player position anymore because I think that is set already. If it is, it's done. I think it's done after the fact. But yeah, so we don't need this. We can get rid of that. That's gone. Visual storytelling is always good. Desmos is an awesome free graphing calculator. I have an engineering degree. High school physics is not that bad in comparison. Heck yeah. Nice, darn man. That's awesome. And Farouk, welcome. I hope I pronounced your name right. But yeah, good stuff. So let's see here. So in theory, I should just be able to just do player.tags equals player data.tags. And since I basically landed on a planet, it already called the save function, which means that my tags are now there, which is cool. And let's see. So I don't see where I'm setting the tags of the player ship anywhere else. So maybe I just search for tags. Tags. Oh, I got 5 matches. So this is in spawn ship. We are ship data dictionary. Okay, so we're passing all that in. That's fine. We're setting our player tags here. So yeah, I wasn't even setting tags on the ship. So there must be something in ship that was setting that if I was the player. There has to be something. Adding to group ships. So get our tags if we're not in display mode. So I'm not getting our tags anymore because I think we're setting that. Interesting. So I could probably get rid of this comment because this is no longer even used. Save. Huh. Interesting. I wonder what I did. So either way, we are getting it now. So we have to do tags. So let's go back to main. So if player data is not empty, so what am I doing if it's just a brand new ship? So we're just loading this. Player equals player ship instance. I probably don't even need this packed scene thing, to be honest. I could probably just do... Interesting, yeah. So player.player equals true. We're setting a camera, we're adding it to it. We're setting our warp angle and our zoom and stuff like that. So we're not setting any of this. So where are we getting our initial tags from? Because if we look at spawn ship, we're getting tags from the ship data. And if I go to spawn ship, we're picking ship probability. We're getting that from our star systems because that determines what ships spawn. We are doing some fancy stuff here. We're basically picking a ship. Once we do that, we have ships, get random ship, ship class, and ship faction. We're getting that dictionary, which does have those tags defined. But, interesting. So I think what I need to do is in main, when we are setting up a space scene, if we are initializing our player instance, if player data is not empty. So I think I'm going to get rid of this whole p-ship thing. I'm just going to set player to equal this, and then we're just going to instance it. Because that's what's going to happen. So we'll just do player, load, whatever it is, and then we'll instance it. We can get rid of this. So we're creating the player ship, load default ship. And then I do need to set player.tags equals. So here is what I need to do. So I have the default ship. So ships. So Synthocracy Shuttle is the basic ship that you start with in the game. So I'm going to go here to keep this somewhat consistent. I'm going to go ships.list, and I'm going to put in Synthocracy Shuttle instance. And then I'm also going to do player.tags equals ships.list. We'll do like Synthocracy Shuttle again. And then we will say tags. And we'll save that. So that gives the player the tags starting out. The rest of the stuff is basically defined on the scene itself. So factions and stuff is not used by the ship itself. Tags are. Those need to be present on the ship. Base price, not so much. And the description and stuff like that, we call that as needed. So tags needs to be stored on the actual ship itself. But now I have the same data in two places. But I think I need to, because as you do upgrades, you might accumulate other tags. So some upgrades might be able to, like, for example, give you the ability to slot biological upgrades, and then your ship will all of a sudden have the tags.biological tag. So I need to account for that. So it needs to be at a base. It needs to be here in our dictionary, but on the ship itself, especially for the player, it needs to be defined on there so that you can make changes to your ship, and it needs to be stored in our save data, which I think it is. So just to be sure that it applies, I'm going to start a new game. I'm going to overwrite old save. So this is ships.list cannot built-in function load. Oh. I need to call in dot scene path. What I have to do there. So ships scene path, yes. So if we save that, start it over again, and do a new, you can see now we have our little shuttle that we start with. And at some point I should show like what tags you currently have on the UI, but for now this works. So we'll go here. Let's just go to browse ships for sale, and let's take a look at something else, right? So this doesn't display tag info. It tells you what class it is, doesn't actually give you more tags. So I have to work on that. Not that. Let's go to customize. This is still jacked up. Why is this still jacked up? So this still says ship class carrier, and it's lowercase. So this tells me it's not actually setting the tag for this. So if I go look at that window, that is customize window. So this stuff here, this is populated by code. So if we look at our ready function here, this is where we're basically populating all the stuff. So we're doing BB code. We're doing ship class. We're doing instance get ship class. And so this is calling a method of our ship, get ship class, and it's just defaulting to returning carrier, which is odd. I should probably have it just default to returning freighter instead. Oh no, actually, I'll keep that. Otherwise, we'll never have carriers. So yeah, like, hey, if it's fighter, return fighter. If it's freighter, return freighter. If it's cruiser, return cruiser. If not, it must be carrier, so just return carrier. So this, in theory, could have just been a match statement as well. I just did it as if, elif statements. Not great, but whatever. So that means that it's not getting the tag. It's not getting any of these tags. It's doing carrier. So when it starts, it doesn't have that data on it. So I think what we have to do is it actually saving. If I load, okay, it saved it there. So if I go to customize your ship, it's still showing as carrier. Player.tags equals okay, so this is if we do have player data. So I'm doing that there. And then we're adding it to the scene. Once we do that, tags should be set. So I will put up here in my ship under tags, expected to be set by the calling instance. So whoever is basically calling this, like whoever is creating us, by the instance that creates us, right? So it needs to be set beforehand. So it needs to be set before ready, which, yeah. I got a lot of variables on here for sure. Some constants. So oh, that was weird. My power just flickered, and then my uninterruptible power supply just flicked on. Cool. That's why I have it. I think the stream is still up though. Yeah. So we're good. We're still live. That was weird. Just a little blip. All right. So we have the tags defined for our shuttle. So I'm thinking that as a debug, I want to do print player tags on new game. And then we will say player.tags. I want to see if we're actually setting it. So if we save, was up here, do a new game. Yes, overwrite alt save. So we are setting those tags. Player tags on new game. Okay. And then if I go to land somewhere, that should trigger a save. If I leave, yeah, so we're no longer loading a new game because we have a save file. If I go back here, it's still showing as carrier. It's a problem. Why is it doing that? So customize window, player instance get tags. That's why. Because I'm only, so player instance, I'm just loading the file name, which is like the scene path of it basically, from our player data. And I'm not actually setting any of the save data on our player instance, which is something that I should probably be doing. So how do I apply? I should just have a function on the ship that is like load data, and it just sets all the stuff. So how am I going to handle that? We have weapon save data. I think I'm doing it manually on the screen here. Like I'm going through, I'm overwriting weapons. Yeah, I need to have a little function on the ship itself that just says load save data. Okay. So let's see, helper method to consistently load, let's see, apply save data back to our ship, such as when loading. So func, I'm gonna say load. Let's see, I'm gonna make this one apply save data. Or maybe update from save. See, I always get stuck on the silly stuff, like naming a method or naming a variable. Because what my intent is to just be able to just pass in the data, the save data, and it will just go through and it will do the thing. It will update the values that needs to be updated. So I don't want to name it load save data because we're not actually loading the file from the file system. That's already done for us. So we're basically just applying. We're updating our values based on save data. So I will say update values based on save data. So that's a long method, but it's named for what it does. And then we're going to have save data, which is of type dictionary. And it's the same that's returned by save. And then this is not going to return anything. So we're going to say returns void. And then I'm going to put a pass here and a big old fatty to do. And so basically what we need to do now is save data is a dictionary that has file name, parent, position X and Y, rotation, global position X and Y, velocity X and Y, hit points, shield hit points. So we don't really need to apply all of this stuff. So I could add like another variable that's kind of like an optional flag that just basically says, hey, apply full or not. I'm going to say full, which is of type bool, and we will default this to be false. So it's an optional flag you don't have to pass in. And we will just say, okay, let's see. Apply the most used values from our save file first. So what we're going to do here, what are the main things we need? So rest of this stuff, we're not going to change. This is the same stuff. We don't need to really apply that every time, I don't think. Position stuff, velocity, current hit points, boost cooldown timer, don't need that stuff. However, inventory data, cargo space, mass space, used mass, upgrades will also have to be stored here as well. So let's I still have to figure that out. So we are going to have to do upgrades here in a second to pass that in as well. So weapons save data and then the tags. We got to have basically just the bottom of this file is the most essential stuff. So we're going to say inventory data equals save data dot inventory data. Right, and we're going to do something similar for the rest of it. So cargo space equals save data dot cargo space. See, I don't even know if necessarily cargo space is needed because how much cargo space is used is stored in inventory data. And then I didn't really have something like that for mass, so I have a used mass variable, which shows how much we actually have used. Hey, Pavel, nice Discord. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, for those who don't know, I do have a Discord now, which is pretty sweet. Let's see here. Pull it up here. I know. Mark this as except for now. Pull over our Discord here. So I do have a Discord. I created one. So you can see we have, hey look, Pavel's in there. Woohoo! What's up? So I set up a Discord. We got a few members in here already, which is pretty cool. Looks like it's posting whenever I go live to my videos. So this whole live streams channel's not really not really used. But yeah, we do have a Discord. I got a bunch of different things. I have some fire memes in here. So definitely feel free to share memes. I got some basic rules. Don't be an asshole, right? Just basic stuff. But yeah. So I have a Discord now, in case you guys are interested in joining. And minimize that, get that out of the way. And then so, yeah. So why is this save data is not declared? Oh, save data needs to be save data. There we go. That'll work now. So let's see. So I don't know if I necessarily need cargo space, but I'm gonna have it there anyway. I'm also gonna have mass space equals save data dot mass space, and then we're also gonna have used mass equals save data dot used mass, and weapon save data we should probably have. But are we even storing that? That's from, we are getting that from here. So we would need to apply the save data as well. I'm getting a ton of notifications now. What is going on? Okay, Steam, new games on sale. Don't care about that. There we go. Okay, cool. Don't worry about it. So yeah, so I don't need to put this in our save file unless I need to actually overwrite the weapons, which might be a good thing to do. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna put a big old to do on here for right now. To do overwrite weapons from save. Okay. And then we're also gonna, let's just knock out our tags. So we're gonna say tags equals save data dot tags. So I'm just making, this feels kind of bad just doing a bunch of thing equals thing code, but we're translating from one data type to basically what we have in on our ship. So we're only saving certain stuff about our ship. We're not saving everything because that'd be probably a lot of crap to do. So yeah. Not fun. But yeah, so I still have to figure out what data is going to be stored for upgrades. So I think for upgrades, let's take a look at my ship. So if we go to any of our ships here, so we have upgrades, which is just a node 2D. I think I'm going to have to make it a node that's like ship weapons. I could name it ship upgrades. It'll be a subnode that will be its own class. And it will have a method that basically allows you to get upgrades. Or I could just get that from the ship itself. I don't know if I need to necessarily do a whole class for it. See, I'm not sure what's the best. I'm not sure how I want to approach this. So for upgrades, it's just going to be a dictionary. So for example, if we take a look at ship weapons, we have a method that says get weapon save data. All I'm doing is just preparing an array. And I'm just getting, it's basically an array of dictionaries. And we're storing what position X and Y they are at, as well as the name of the actual weapon. So I could do something similar for upgrades. God damn it! I'm gonna have to refactor more code again because I didn't think it through well enough. So in my ship code here, I have this like apply upgrade and like reset and apply all upgrades. I'm probably still going to have those as part of the ship class. So I don't really want to rewrite this stuff again. I'm going to ignore it for now. I'm going to get something working, and then we can make it look nice. Probably doing a shitbag thing right now, not making it consistent. Because we have ship weapons, but not ship upgrades. Why not? Why can't we do it that way? Because I have to go through all my code of what I have implemented and make it that way, and I'm feeling lazy. Oh, that's some good water. Ice cold. All right. So let's go back to our ship. Let's think about our save method. So we're not including upgrades right now. We probably need to get that data as well. So I have to figure out what data I need to store for my upgrades. So let's just throw something here. Get upgrade save data. And we'll just say var upgrade save data is of type array. And we're going to equal 0. And we are just going to basically set this to, we're going to go for upgrade in, let's see, did I name it upgrades or ship upgrades? I think I just named it upgrades. So if we go up to the top here, yeah, so we just have it named upgrades. So this node on our ship has all of our upgrades. So then we are going to want to do this for upgrade in upgrades. That's going to give us the actual node. No, we're going to do upgrades dot get children. So that's going to give us all of the upgrades that we have. It's going to return that actual node to us. So our upgrade, we can basically say var upgrade dict equals, actually no, we're not going to do another allocation. We're just going to, I'm just going to say upgrade save data dot append. And we are going to append a dictionary. And this is going to have the position X, which is going to be the upgrade dot position dot X, because we're storing this in a JSON like format. And this is stuff that's actually written to a file. So it doesn't support vector2 out of the box like that. So I have to break out the vector2 values in their own X and Y keys, their own fields. So that's why I'm doing this here. Position Y, upgrade dot position dot Y. And then I need to include a trailing comma on these. And then we're going to have upgrade name. And this is just going to say upgrade dot, what did I name it? So if we go to an upgrade, we have upgrade data. Which is basically a clone of the data that's from our upgrades struct, dictionary, whatever. So I'm going to say upgrade data dot title. This is a mess. Upgrade data dot title. This is a big ass mess. So anyway, we're getting these upgrades. We're saving them. And we're just appending it. So yeah, that's going to work there. Not clean, but it works. So now we are just going to do here, we're going to say upgrade. No, I didn't want to comment it, god damn it. I wanted to remove it all and then comment. So upgrade save data is going to equal upgrade save data. Whoop-de flippity-doo, and a trailing comma that doesn't break. Save. So now we are saving our data on what upgrades we have, if we have any. So now we need to basically load and apply. So now we need to apply most used values from a save file first. Then we will overwrite our weapons and upgrades with what is from the save file. So do I have anything? I have reset and apply all upgrades. So I'm going to need to manually clear that out. So what am I, where's my update values based on this? So then we'll start with our upgrades. So for upgrades, we're going to want to say, let's start with our upgrades. Let's purge any upgrades that are present here. So we're going to do for, I'm going to do something similar. Upgrade in upgrades.get children. We are going to do upgrade.queue free. We're going to get rid of that. Cool. So now we are going to apply all of our upgrades from the save file, from the save data. I'm going to change this to save data as well. That's important. Apply all of our upgrades from save data. So now we are going to go through and we're going to say for a new upgrade in, and we're going to say save data dot upgrade save data, which remember is an array, which is declared right here. So it is an array. We are going to basically go through and each one of those. So new upgrade is basically going to be a dictionary that has the X and Y of where it's supposed to be positioned, as well as the name of the upgrade. So we are going to do let's see, upgrade instance, which is going to be of type node 2D. It's going to equal load. We're going to load that from the new upgrade dictionary. It's going to be, no. We're going to load it from upgrades.list. We're going to pass in the new upgrade dot, what did I call it? Upgrade name. Upgrade name. And we're going to do the scene path. And then we're going to instantiate it, which in Godot 3 is .instance. In Godot 4, it's .instantiate. So we're doing that. Equals load. I forgot to make it a variable. I'm just going to abbreviate this to ugly because this text is getting a bit long. I'm just going to say var u, which is node 2D. Do this. And then I'm going to basically, so we're instancing that. I'm going to, we're going to add it as a, we're going to do upgrades.add child. And we're going to add our new upgrade that we just instanced. And then we're going to do u.position, which is our relative position from our ship where we are created. And I'm going to update this to be a vector2 that has our new upgrade dot position X, new upgrade dot position Y. So as I'm writing this code stinks. It's giving off a strong code smell because I have many different similar names for very different things that are stored in different places. It's a hodgepodge of random bullshit of stuff I've tried to figure out before and stuff I'm trying to figure out now. And it doesn't feel great. So for example, I have, for upgrade in upgrades.getChildren. This is an actual node. I have new upgrade. This is an actual, this is a dictionary, not the actual node. I have var u, which is going to be the actual node of the new instance that we're overriding it with. And then I'm just doing new upgrade. It feels messy. I don't like it. There's probably a better way I could do it, but I'm trying to get something working, and then we can polish it up later. Now, this is what's called accruing technical debt. Accruing technical debt in real time. Yeah. But whatever. I don't care. It works. Might not be the best. Might not be pretty. Might not be intuitive from looking at it, which is another problem. Your code should be self-documenting, in theory. It should be immediately apparent what stuff is. And this is not immediately apparent from what the hell's going on here. So anyway, upgrades should be applied. And then now, so let's see, upgrades should be overwritten and placed. Now let's apply their stats. So what we're going to do here is we're going to do, what is it called? Reset and apply all upgrades. And this method doesn't take any arguments or parameters, so we can just call that. All this does is this just zeroes out all of our modifiers, and it just gets what actual upgrades we have. It's verifying if the instance is valid, because since I called queue free immediately before, they might not have, those scenes might not have actually been, those nodes might not have actually been freed up from the scene. They might still be there. However, they are flagged as not valid, so that's good. So, and I'm just basically just applying any effects that the upgrade might have. I still have a to-do for some of the other effects, but I will handle that when the time comes. And so, yeah, so if we go to update values based on save data, reset and apply all upgrades should handle upgrades. So now we can do weapons. Let's purge any existing weapons so we can overwrite them. Purge any existing weapons we have initially, right? So then what we're going to do here is for weapon in weapons dot get. See, weapons is a class. So ship weapons gives me some methods. So let's take a look at what ship weapons offers. Oh, look at that. We have an overwrite weapons function, and we can pass in weapons save data. I did something right. So now I can just say weapon. Let's just say weapons overwrite weapons with what we have from our save file. So I already have a method for this. Perfect. So we can just do weapons dot overwrite weapons, and then we can pass in our save data dot weapons save data, and that will pass it in, and it will be able to execute based on that. Now, since in Godot, I believe it passes arrays and dictionaries by reference and not by value, so it's not making a copy of it. I want to make sure that overwrite weapons is not mutating this array in any way. It is not. All we're doing is just read operations from it. So that's fine. Makes sense. Cool. So weapons should be set. So now we have a choice. Do we need to do all the other optional stuff? And we could say if full, which is our variable that we specify up here, this parameter. We're saying, hey, if full is true, we're doing a full application of values. So that means that we need to apply position, rotation, global position, velocity, HP, all this stuff. Boost, cooldown, timer. We got to apply all that shit. But for now, I'm going to say pass to do. I'll do this when I need to. LOL. Yay, tech debt. I don't want to fuck with that right now because that's not a feature I need right now. I don't need that right now. That's why I'm not going to do it. So, but I have something in there with a big old fatty to-do on it. And ideally, once this game is released, all the to-dos would be resolved in a perfect world. Whether or not that's actually true or not, we shall see in the future when I actually get the damn thing done. But for now, we're just getting upgrades working. All of this refactoring just to get upgrades to work. Because of how I'm storing things in 4 different places. I technically have 2 sources of truth for a lot of things. I have the scene itself, and then I have the dictionary. I have 3 sources of truth. And then what you actually have on your current ship right now. So there's like 3 different sources of truth. And I'm basically writing a lot of fucking shit code to reconcile those differences, those conflicts, because I have multiple sources of truth, which is not ideal. Okay, either way, this should now work. So we have update values based on saved data. Okay, cool. So let's save this in our main scene. Now what we can do is we should have something that basically says, okay, if player data is not empty, we can load that, and then we can say player dot, what is it? I think it's apply. What the fuck was it? Update. Was it update? Update values based on saved data. And then we can pass in player data, and it should do the thing, right? So we can call that, and it should be fine. So then we'll save that. That in theory should mean that we don't have to do all of this. Oh, so you know what? I do need those features. I do need those features. Interesting. Yeah. So I'm going to copy all this. Copy, go back to my ship, go back to my update values, and then we'll just paste this here for now. And then let's just start updating it. So we will do velocity equals, and then we'll change this to from player data to save data. Save data. So that one should be set. Yeah. Last location, we don't really have to worry about this, I don't think. Last location is a variable that's used by main. But this is our global position. So we do need to set global position. And we'll just change this again from player data to save data. Save data. That should work. Then we could just get rid of the player here, 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 and here. I'll get rid of this pass, and then we'll upgrade. I'm just going to do save. Copy this. Paste. Paste. And paste. That stuff should be set now. Cool. So if we are doing full, then we want to apply the rest of this stuff. So now I can go back into main here, and we should probably do inventory data as well, which I think I already am. We're already doing tags. So all this whole block here, this can be commented out for now. And then what I will do is I'm going to add a comma and a true here for update values based on saved data. So in theory, this should work. So let's load a new ship. Or I should just load our game. Upgrades and get children. Do-do-do-do-do-do. So it's detecting nil. Okay. I know what the problem is. The problem is that we can't access a lot of that stuff until after it's been added to the scene, because these variables up here that get the references to the nodes, these are onReady variables, which means that they're not actually declared until it's entered the scene. Basically, once the ready function has been called. I think it happens like slightly before ready, but these don't. This isn't even. So these aren't even declared until it enters the scene tree, which is why the onReady keyword is there. And I can't make declarations of variables that are referencing nodes. Yeah, use onReady instead. So it needs to have that onReady, or else Godot throws a shit fit. So I have to do this after it's been it enters the scene tree. So is there anything in ready? So we're doing reset and apply upgrades. We're getting the attack range. We're setting some stuff. We're adding it to groups. Getting our collision mask. So we don't actually have we don't have access to a lot of this stuff yet, which this is fine. So we'll save this. So in main, I'm going to have to get rid of this. I'm going to have to come down here, and after it's added to the scene, we can update values from saved data. We can do this. Player to update values based on saved data. We can put in the player data equals true. So let's run this. It should be fine. Load. Invalid get index on upgrade saved data. So the reason why that's popping up is because, let's just overwrite. No. Invalid get inventory data. Okay. So on a new game, we don't have any inventory data. But why would it be trying to apply? If it's a brand new game, why are we updating values based on saved data? Because I forgot to add. Let's see. So I have to add like another check here that says if not player data empty, right? Otherwise, it's just calling that. Add that here, indent this baby, save. do new, overwrite. Okay. So now we have our ship. Let's land, which will save. It's saved. Let's leave. Okay, it was able to load. So now if we go here, none of this should have changed, because I'm not actually using it yet. But yeah, that should be there. So now if we go back to our customize window, which is where we were trying to basically fix this stuff, right? So we're adding it to the scene. So now this, even this comment is wrong. So now we can overwrite default ship configuration with what is in our save file. So now we can do player instance dot apply, was update values based on saved data, and we can just pass in player data. And in this case, we do not need a full application of the variables. We only need the core set ones. So this should be fine. So now if we run this, load, land, shipyard, customize ship, you can see now it has the proper ship class. However, it's not formatted cleanly. It has a lowercase f, which just kind of looks shitty. So let's fix that. Let's leave. I'm going to close out of this, and then let's just go down here to our BB code. And what we can do here is we can do get ship class. Since it returns a string, I can just do a capitalize method, and that will capitalize it. So I'm going to load f ship customize shopper upgrades. Actually, no. Yeah, right here. Bam. Freighter is now, and so it shows what the actual ship class is. And then once I start working on this stuff here, it'll show what current upgrades we currently have, as well as what weapons we also currently have. So I still got to update that. But let's see what this looks like on this tiny ship. That looks pretty ridiculous. Amazing. Awesome. It looks so derpy. So now this makes me think, should I have the option to like use the scroll wheel or something to be able to scale up and down the upgrades so you can fit more on your ship? I don't know. It's definitely something to think about. Yeah, but there we go. So we got that problem solved. Now it has access to the stuff. So now that it has access to that, I want to go check something really quick while I'm thinking about it. What was I going to check? There's something I saw. Oh yeah, upgrades. I want to go to my upgrades. So turn speed. So this one has a sprite that's set to 0.25 for scale. And then Syndocracy acceleration speed. This one has a sprite that's set to 0.5. So maybe I should set this to be about the same size. Let's see how that looks now. Load. Let's see, customize ship, shopper upgrades. That looks ridiculous. That looks so dumb. Okay. Maybe I should allow you to resize. Oh. I mean, wow. Or maybe I should just have them all be one uniform size and just figure out what will actually work. Because this is kind of funny. This is derpy. Done, leave. Okay, so you see it didn't actually apply it. So we still have to figure that out. So let's go to exit. So on our customize window, here we have upgrade placed. And this is where it actually placed, but we're not doing anything right now. We're basically just saying, hey, whatever, right? So now that we have actual data about, so we have to check the node that we placed. Actually, no, we already checked all that stuff. We already checked to make sure that it has all of the requirements before we get to this point. Now we've placed it. Now we need to actually purchase it. So this is where we're going to adjust the use mass, our funds, and update our save. Okay. Interesting. So player data, this is scoped only in the ready function. In order to save it and then reload, I need to, or maybe I should just do it. Yeah. Let's make this a, not global, but scoped through the entire customize window as opposed to just the ready function. So I'm going to do, let's see, keep the player data in scope here so we can resave and reload data as we make changes. So then I will just do var player data dictionary. I'll do that. It will equal just empty value, and then what I'll do is remove the var here, remove the type declaration here, and just set it to be equals. So that way, player data is now in scope throughout this entire script, basically. This whole script of my customize window. So you know what? I'm kind of doing something here that makes the code more readable. See how I'm like adding spaces, like, or a new line between each of like chunk of thing I'm doing. And if we go to my ship, I'm just vomiting everything in like one big old line. Like one continuous stream of bullshit, one big wall of text. I think it might be more readable if I break things out. So for example, if I did this, right? So we're overriding our weapons. Want to apply our upgrades. There. So that looks more readable. That's more bite-sized, digestible chunks, I feel. But whatever. That's just stuff for me. Doesn't matter. So in our customized window, we're going to have to get that stuff. So I figured out most of this. I haven't figured out this part yet. That's something that we got to do still. But I have the basics figured out, and I have this documented in the main as stuff we need to do. So we still have to do. So player weapons, get weapons. I don't know if I need to even do this anymore, because that was used in a bunch of code that I basically cut out. That was when I was refactoring weapon slots. So if we do a control F for this, there's only 2 places I'm using this currently. And I don't think I actually need this because now all that is included in the save data. So I don't think I need to even do this. So I'm going to get rid of that. I'm going to get rid of this. And yeah. Format the string. So So there's a few things that we have to do on this screen here. So we have this BB code variable that we are reusing. We're just setting it to be NA. Because for our ship mods label, which should be named ship upgrades label, but I wasn't clear on whether I wanted to use modifications or upgrades at the time. So yeah. Ship mods. So let's see, what do we got to do here? So what are we going to have? I kind of like the idea of having... So how does this look in game? So if we load, go to our wholesale, customize. So this just makes a nice little table that has these values all justified or aligned in a certain way, which makes it more readable. So I could probably do something similar for ship modifications. And then also over here, I want to show what our current like modified values are for some of this stuff. And there are things that are missing on here that we're going to need to include. There's just so much to do. So let's take a look. Ship class, shield capacity, hull integrity. So we have acceleration speed, max speed, like I should probably name this turn speed. Even though rotation speed is more correct, I refer to it as turn speed like everywhere else. Again, I have a problem with consistency apparently because I change my mind every time I start working on this damn game. We have cargo capacity, we have mass capacity. What other variables do we need? So what upgrades can we... So we have acceleration speed, strafe, we have strafe, we don't have that. Deceleration, we don't have that. Boost cooldown, we don't have that. And everything else is fine. Carried fighters, it only applies if it's a carrier, which I don't think I can even get one of those right now. So yeah. So let's add, we need to add, let's see, let's just copy this. I'm going to copy this line. I'm going to say deceleration speed. Actually, I'm going to move this. I'm going to move this to be below acceleration speed. And we don't have to do anything crazy with the formatting. We're still applying that, so that's fine. And then we also needed strafe speed as well. So I'm going to put that underneath turn. I'm going to add in strafe speed. And then, so now I need to do below acceleration speed, player instance dot deck speed, comma. And then underneath turn speed, player instance dot strafe speed. Save. Now I also want to add like modifiers if they do exist. I want to show like in parentheses what colored, whether or not yeah. So I might have to change how I'm generating this BB code here, because this might need to be more advanced. Because right now I'm just basically making a big template string, and I'm using a formatter to just basically pass in the values in order of how they appear. So I could potentially do that. It might be messy looking, but I could potentially do that. Or I could just build it cell by cell. I don't know. See, I keep wanting to refactor my code every time I look at it. This is a problem. Just going to get stuck in hell here, just constantly churning out the same code over and over again. Let's see, what do I want to do for this? How do I want to handle this? I'm not sure. I'm stun locked. I kind of want to have to rewrite all of this. Because if we look on our shipyard window, like our buy ship window, I'm also building BB code here as well, but I made these helper functions that basically like add cell, and it basically puts in the value so I can easily create my cells. All it does is just wrap it in the BB code. And then there's also the add float comparison, which will just basically compare like this was because you're comparing what your current ship values are versus the new one. So I'm already kind of taking a different approach here. I want to do something similar here to where I'm just basically adding in a cell for each thing, and then I'm formatting the cell how I want it to be. This is a bit more, I don't know. Either way, it's going to be messy. So tell you what, let's do this. I'm going to do another percent sign, which is like a percent sign S, which is string. So I don't need to do that for ship name or ship class. Shield capacity, I do need to do it for. So I'm going to do a space. So I'm basically just adding, and then I'm going to add secondary values for the modifiers. I'm going to format them how I want. So I'm going to add a helper function. So helper function to format some BB code stuff for our modifiers. So I'm going to say func. Let's see. What am I going to do for this? Basically, my thought process is I pass in the modifier. If it's positive, it's going to say like plus the number, and I want it to be in parentheses, and I want it to be green in color. So I need to add a, let's just see. I'm going to say format modifiers. And this is going to take in a value. I'm going to say format float modifier, because not all of our stuff is going to be float. But this is going to be a float. It's going to say value of type float. And this is going to return a string. And for now, I'm going to return an empty string with a big old fatty to do on here. So what I basically want to do is I'm going to say, hey, if value is greater than 0, that means it's positive. We are going to just basically return. We're going to return a string that's going to have an opening parenthesis. We're going to have a color tag in it. Color equals lime. And then we are going to have the color equals lime plus, and then we're going to convert it to a string, which will take in the value. I think that's how we do it. Is that how we do it? Yeah, string converts one or more arguments of any type to string in the best way possible. In the best way possible. I like that. So we're doing string value, and then we're appending another string to it, and we're going to do a closing color tag for the closing parenthesis. So that's what it's going to do if it is, if it is a positive value. And I'm going to do elif value is less than 0. And then what I'm going to do here is I'm going to return. And then I'm going to say color is red. Want that in red. I don't want the parentheses to be part of the color. And then I'm just going to do else. We're just going to return no color at all. It's just going to be opening parenthesis plus string value plus closing parenthesis. There. So not a very pretty function. Probably a better way I could do that. Like I could probably just make a template string and then just format it based on that. And then I could have this be a value and then whatever. But you can see what this is doing. So it gets the job done. So what I can do here is like for shield capacity, we can say shields HP max. And then what we can do here is we can do format. Why is it not showing up? I just made a function. Okay, so it's going to be a pain in the ass. Format. Why is it being a pain? If I save it, does it autocomplete? Format. No, it doesn't. What's your fucking problem? Piece of shit. Fine. Format float modifier. We'll just copy this, put it in, and we're going to do player instance dot shields HP max mod. That's basically what we're doing. We're going to put a comma. That should work. Next, I'm going to copy this. So we have hull integrity or HP. So now we can just do HP max mod. So acceleration speed, and we're just going to go out and knock this out for the rest of these, right? Let me finish up adjusting the template string. That way it's all kosher. There we go. We have mass capacity, cargo capacity, stretch. So all of these things are things that can be modified, right? So we're going to put that in there. So now this can be changed to just acceleration speed mod. Do it again. This is going to be deck speed mod. Max speed mod. Turn speed. Turn speed mod, we've got strafe speed. We have cargo space. Cargo space mod. And finally, mass space. So we'll select mass space mod. Save. So let's see if that works, how I anticipate it does. Load. Ship, customize. So you can see there's just a bunch of zeros here because I don't have any modifiers on the ship currently. So it just shows 0. So what I think I'm going to do as well is I just remembered in this formatter, I want to include a plus value if it's positive and a negative value if it's negative. Otherwise, I'm just going to put, I don't know, I could put plus here, like plus 0. But I think I'm just going to leave that there. So we'll put that there. Alternatively, I could just have it be an empty string. So if there's nothing there, there's no modifier to worry about. So what I might do is I might just comment this part out and I might just say return an empty string. So let's see how that looks. So load, customize. So you can see I don't have any modifiers here. So once I do have a modifier, you'll be able to see like that oh, shield capacity 150 plus 25 or something, right? So you'll be able to see that. Also, there's no upgrades here, so because I don't have any, which is fine. So let's go to customize window. Let's make this say no ship currently does not have any upgrades. And then we can say for this, ship currently does not have any weapons, which is like never going to happen. We're always going to have weapons. But now I basically have to format this BB code for the weapons and stuff. So I think what I might do, what should I do? So for upgrades, I think I should do like another table. So like table equals 2, so it's going to have 2 cells per row. And then every cell is like the first cell is going to have what the upgrade name is. And then the second one is going to have the details about what it does. It's just going to have a formatted string. I don't think it's going to look nice. But I don't want to account for like a bunch of empty cells. So say, for example, like most of my upgrades only have 2 things that they do. They increase something at the cost of mass. However, some upgrades might have multiple things that they do. And I don't want to be handicapped by this in the future. So I think what I might just do is I might just list the upgrades we have. And then maybe if I mouse over them, it gives you some insight as to what those upgrades do. I think that might be a better thing, a better user experience. So, but how can I do that in a BB code? Maybe I don't have to use a BB code. Especially if I'm just listing stuff. Maybe over here. So we've got ship info. Oh, this is buy ship window. Go to customize window, damn it. So yeah. So over here, we have this VBC, VBox container. Then we have our ship info. We have our ship modifications, our ship upgrades. Then we have our weapons info. So maybe I should change this from a rich text label to just be another VBox container that just has a bunch of labels that I can easily set. Because labels, I can set the tooltip value of them. And if I'm only setting this to just be the name of the upgrade, then I don't have to use BB code to do any special coloring. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I think we're gonna make that happen. So let's get rid of, let's go to our 2D. So for this here, this will be populated by code. I'm going to get rid of that. I'm going to insert add child node. We're going to do a VBox container. I'm going to name this one upgrade list. I'm going to move that where it was. Bam. And that's just going to hold some upgrades. And then weapons info. I don't know if I want to do the same for weapons info. Weapons info, I should actually have like I think I'm going to do the same for that. So as well, in addition, I need to have something that allows me to sell an upgrade or a weapon that I have on my ship. So I think this is also going to be a VBox container. So add child node, VBox container, and we'll say weapons list. And then what this will be is this will be here. We'll save. Now we're going to go into the script. We're going to change this. So ship info label, that's still good. Weapons info label, we don't need this anymore. We are going to name this one weapons list. This is going to be of type VBox container. And we can get a reference to it by doing VBC. And let's see if we can find it. So we have, what is this, weapons list? Bam. So now we have something similar here. I'm just going to copy this. I'm going to remove this entire line. I'm going to say upgrades list. And I'm going to change this to just be upgrades. And I should be able to autocomplete. There we go. Awesome. Looking good. Save. So now we have a problem here. Oh no. On line 92, ship mods label. What are we going to do? It doesn't exist anymore. I'm not going to do shit. We're going to comment it out for now because that's what real heroes do. And to be fair, I don't think I even need this BB code at all. So we don't need that. But we still have to determine, let's see. So I'm going to say determine what to display. I'm going to say prepare our upgrades list display, right? We're going to display all of our upgrade list. Hey, Zaki. How was my day? Pretty busy day. At work, oh my God. It was a day. It was a Monday. But yeah. You responded on Discord? Cool, I will check that out after stream. Hope my feedback wasn't too harsh. It wasn't intended to be that way. But yeah, so prepare our upgrades for list display. Let's see, we'll also need to handle our ship weapons. So I'm going to get rid of this. Just all this crap out of my life. No longer need it. Prepare our upgrades list display. So what am I going to do for the upgrades list? Well, initially I was just going to do a bunch of labels with tooltips. But I think I need to do 3 nodes. I need to group them in a HBox container with a label that has the a tooltip defined. And then also there's going to be a button that allows you to sell the upgrade. And that will, of course, have to bring up like a confirmation prompt. Do you really wish to sell upgrade for this? And then that will basically remove the upgrade from your ship. Cool. No, it was good. Okay, cool. I was worried I was like going to be like a Debbie Downer with my comment on it or whatever. But no, that's good. So for those who are wondering what I'm talking about, in my Discord, which you should definitely join, link is in the description of this stream right meow. Zaki is a beatboxer, and he was posting some cool stuff and stuff he was working on. It didn't really hit for me personally, and I just outlined why. But I'm not a hater, so don't hate. I'm not going to yuck someone else's yum. I'm just going to explain why it doesn't vibe with me. But that's all good. Anyway. But yeah, Zaki's a pretty damn good beatboxer. He's got the skills. So let's see here. So prepare upgrades list display. So we are going to want to, yeah, this is going to be a bit involved. So we're going to, let's just say, starting with the HBox container. There we go. So we're going to say var. Let's just, because this is basically used to just define like one entity. Like this is going to be the parent node of this thing I'm going to slot into this VBox container. So it's going to be one row, and it's going to have all of our stuff in it that we want. So we're going to say, I'm going to say just upgrade stuff. I could name it that. I'm going to name it upgrade entry because it's an entry in our upgrade list, right? So this is going to be of type HBox container. Since it's like a predefined built-in node, I can just do .new. I don't have to do .instance. Let's see, I can short cover my response here, but the note on the voice is that I don't sing at all. So yeah, that's me trying to sound good but sounding bored. I feel that. I don't sing at all, man. The promotion thing is smart. I like that. Oh, prompt thing is smart. I like that. Cool. Nice. So let's see, upgrade entry. So we need to have, you know, we need to have the label with our tooltip. We need to have an option to like sell the upgrade. And so we're going to say upgrade entry equals hbox container new. So actually it's uptype hbox container equals hbox container new. Type safety may seem kind of redundant, but this actually has a huge performance increase under the hood for Godot. I think somebody, I forgot what it was. I wish I would have bookmarked it, but somebody did like some like super basic functions and benchmarked them. And if you didn't declare what types you were using, it took like anywhere between 2 to 8 times longer, even for basic stuff. And that adds up over time. So I like type safety anyway. So I just always specify what type I'm working with. So I know hbox container new. And then we are going to, we're going to prepare the label. So I'm going to say var upgrade label. And this is going to be of type label, big shocker, equals label.new. Okay. So upgrade label.text, which is what is displayed on the label. We're just going to set this to be, oh, we got to go through and iterate through every single one. That's right. So prepare our upgrades list display. So iterate through each upgrade that we have. So let's see. I also have to handle if it's NA or not. Wait, so what are you doing right now? Is that when you're upgrading or removing stuff from your ship, you want there to be a prompt that says, are you sure? Yeah, so I haven't got to the prompt yet. I'm working on my customized screen. It shows you what upgrades you currently have. So I'm formatting how that's displayed currently. And part of that formatting is I'm going to have a button that will bring up that prompt. I still have to make that prompt and format that too. So everything is so intensive. Okay, so upgrade label equals new. So the text is gonna, so I have to iterate through this. So let's do, I'm just gonna comment this. So we're gonna make, I'm gonna do 4, because we already have player instance. So I'm going to say for entry in, I'm going to say for upgrade in player instance, which is referencing our ship that we have instance on the screen. We are going to say upgrades, which is the node that houses all of the upgrade nodes. And we're gonna get children. So this is gonna return the actual node. So we're doing a for loop. So we're iterating through every single node that our ship has that is an upgrade. So now this is an upgrade. This is a node 2D. So I have to basically say, I'm gonna tab this here, and I'm gonna move this farther down because wrap it in hbox container. Boom, I'll put that there. So I'm just gonna say HBC. Okay, so I'm just gonna call it label, because this is all just in the scope of this loop now. So label is label.new. Label text equals upgrade dot upgrade data, because that's what the upgrade has. Kind of silly, I know. I'm not happy with it myself, but this upgrade has upgrade data. And I don't, why did I make this a class? I don't remember. What a piece of shit this game is, I swear to God. What am I doing with my life? So upgrade data, dot, and then that corresponds to a key in my upgrades list. So we're getting the title. We want the title. That's going to display this, this key here, basically. So we want the title. So if we go back to customize window, title, that'll be the text of the actual label. It's actually late for me. I just wanted to hop in, make myself present for yet another amazing stream and check how you are. I have to go to bed soon, so good night. I hope you have a great stream. See you, man. Thanks, Zaki. Thanks for stopping by. Appreciate it. And I'll catch you later. I'm going to keep chugging on with this for another probably 2 hours, I would imagine. I might be back if I feel very awake and unable to sleep. That's me right now, working on this game. I want to work on it. I want to finish it. Not finish it. I want to make tangible progress. And I've been having a hard time sleeping because I keep wanting to work on my game. So yeah. Anyway, hopefully you can't fall asleep, Zaki. Have a good night. So text, and then on this label, we also want to specify the tooltip. And the tooltip is going to have some formatting to handle all of the possible things that an upgrade can do, which this is a problem with like genericized components. Now, this is a perfect time to switch gears. Let's take a look at our upgrade again. This is already a class. So maybe I can just make a method of the class that will just output a formatted string of what the hell it does. Maybe. I don't know. For now, I'm just going to do it in customize window. Because I'm lazy and I know this is a bad idea. I just want to get something working. And then once it's working, I can see how it works, and then I can go through and I can make it not suck as bad is the idea here. That's what I would like to do. So I need to format a tooltip. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a helper function to format a tooltip for an upgrade. This is a bit messy as we have to basically account for every possible thing an upgrade can do. Also, big old fatty to do, maybe make this a method of the upgrade class itself. Funk. Okay. Format upgrade deets. I'm going to call it format upgrade deets. And we're going to pass in what the name of the upgrade is. So I'm going to say upgrade name, which is of type string. And this is going to return a string that's formatted for us. So for now, I'm going to return an empty string with a big old fatty to-do on it as I think about just how I'm going to accomplish this. So for the tooltip, what do I want the tooltip to have? So the good news is it doesn't have to be BB code. I don't know if tooltip actually even supports BB code. I don't think it does because it's not a rich text label. But if we go in our thing down here, we should have a label. Label. So let's look at documentation for label. So I don't see tooltip. I know it does have a tooltip option. Maybe that's part of control. So where's, oh, hint tooltip. Here we go. So hint tooltip label is inheriting this from the control node. So it doesn't even have to be this label. Changes the tooltip text. The tooltip appears when the user's mouse cursor stays idle over the control for a few moments, provided that the mouse filter property is not mouse filter ignore. You can change the time required for the tooltip to appear in project settings. The tooltip pop-up will use either a default implementation or a custom one that you can provide by overriding make custom tooltip. The default tooltip includes a pop-up panel and a label whose theme properties can be customized using theme methods with the tooltip panel and tooltip label respectively. For example, okay, so that's how you would style it if you want. So default styling is fine for a tooltip. I don't need to go crazy with that right now, but it does give me the power to do that if I so choose, which is dope. So what are we going to format here? So we're going to say var tooltip string. I'm going to say var upgrade of a format upgrade tooltip is what the function is going to be called. So tooltip string is of type string equals. Let's start with what the name of it is. So we're going to say upgrade name plus, and I'm going to do a new line. Okay, and then we're going to keep appending to this string as we go. So I'm going to do something similar to, this is getting old, I tell you what. Now I got to go through and see if this upgrade actually has all the things. Copy. This is really shitty code. But at the same time, I don't care if it works. So we are going to have to do effects. So let's get upgrades.list. We're going to use the upgrade name as the key, and we're going to get the effects, which will give us a reference to that dictionary of just only the effects. And then what we can do here is, rather than doing these modifiers, which I was doing for my ship, we can just continue building our tooltip string. So we'll say prepare our output. So acceleration speed. So we're going to say acceleration speed. If we have it, we're going to say tooltip string plus equals, and we're going to say acceleration speed. And this is where we basically have to decide whether or not it is a positive or negative value, which is kind of a pain. So format upgrade tooltip. This is getting messy really quick. Tell you what. Tooltip string. Format. We have a format float modifier. That's going to return BB code, which can't be used. I could modify this to just say, hey, for BB code, but this is specifically for BB code. So instead, I'm just going to, let's see, we'll just say format positive or negative, right? We're going to do func format pos or negative. We'll put a value, which will be of type float for now. It's going to return a string. And this is going to say, hey, if value is greater, actually, no, we're going to do this. Var sign, no, can't do sign. Let's say S for like the sign, like plus sign or negative sign of type string equals, we're going to default it to be positive. Okay, and if if value is below 0 or negative value, we're going to say s, in fact, equals a negative. And then we're just going to return s plus string, whatever the value is. There you go. Format positive or negative. So now we can just do acceleration speed equals, and then we can just do plus, not equals, but like a colon, plus, and we can do format pos or negative, and we can put in e dot acceleration speed. Right? So bam, something like that works. And then what I also want to do is I think it would look cleaner if every one of these things had a new line. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do plus, I'm going to do a new line at the end of everything. And yeah, I think that should work. Or maybe I should do it at the start of every line, because if I have it at the end of every line, the tooltip could have like an extra gap at the bottom that it might not need. So that might look odd. So I think what I might do is I might just do new line. I'm not going to set a new line here. And then every one of these that we do, we'll just need to actually have that new line there. So then we'll do something similar. So strafe speed, we will say strafe speed, format positive or negative, strafe speed, and we'll just knock this out. Not a glorious code implementation by any mean. I could have probably just kept that and then only changed the first two letters. There we go. Deceleration speed, and then dex speed. There we go. So do the same thing for here for turn speed. Turn speed. Honestly, I probably could write a function for this, but there's nothing that explicitly maps the like user-friendly description of what this is, because no one's going to know what the fuck this means. If I put axe speed on a tooltip, no one's going to say, what the fuck is that? It's not going to be very, very user-friendly, right? So this is why we got to do this here currently. Once I get it working, there's probably much better ways I can streamline this. In fact, I might do it one day, but for now, I just want to get something working. Something working. So we're going to say max speed. Then we have HP max. So we will say max hull integrity. You know what? Now that I'm thinking about this, maybe because you see how like these aren't going to be uniform, it might be kind of hard to read. Maybe I should have the numbers be first, because those will always be like, not always, I guess, but they'll be somewhat uniform. I don't know. We'll just get something working. For now, I can change it later. So we need to change this to be HP max. Then we have shields HP max. So max shield capacity is, I think, what I referred to it as in the other window, which I kind of like. Shields HP max. And then we have cargo space. Cargo space. Cargo space. He has mass space. We can do mass space here. So I'm thinking these are all just strings anyway. What's stopping me from... Oh, wait, these have to correspond to the actual variable names. That's why I have them named that way. Always something, man. So then we can change this to be mask space. I'm not really happy with that term, but it's what we got. Mask space. Save. So now that we're formatting our string, we are going to just basically return the built string output, right? So return tooltip string. So there, that should go through and handle any of the things that a tooltip can, or a modifier, a upgrade can do right now. I definitely should have put this as a method of the upgrade class, but for now it'll just live here. It's the only place it'll be used right now currently. But yeah, so we have BB code for that. For this one, we're gonna do label.tooltip. What is it set? What was control set to have? Control. So is it text tooltip? Is that what it is? It's hint tooltip. That's it. So we can see label.hint tooltip equals, and we can do format upgrade tooltip, and we can pass in the upgrade name, which we have here. There. So there we have a label that has the tooltip when you hover over it, which is nice. So now we also need to have a button. First, let's create a label with a tooltip. And then we're gonna have to create a button, I'm gonna say sell button, in case they want to sell that upgrade. We're gonna do var. I'm gonna do button equals uptype. It's uptype button equals button.new, and then for this, button.text equals sell upgrade. Okay. Now I also kind of want this label to expand as far right as it can, and I want the button to be at the very far right. So I think for my label, I'm gonna have to do label size flags horizontal equals what is it? Control.size flags. So it's gonna be size expand fill. I think that's what it should do. So that way, that should push everything as far right as it can, and then the button will just take up as much space as it needs inside of this HBox container. So we're going to say sell upgrade, and then I'm going to put to do connect signal that actually allows us to sell it. So I still have a big old fatty to do here. So I'm going to wrap it in an HBox container. And then our HBox container, I'm going to add child. I'm going to add our label first. And then HBC, add child. I'm going to add the button after. And then in our, what did I call it? Upgrades list. Where am I? I'm going to finally add it to our window. So we're going to do upgrades list dot add child, and we're going to add that HBC because that's housing everything. So let's save. So in theory, let's see what this does. Load. Let's land. Whole customize. It doesn't do anything currently because there's no upgrades that we have. So if I shop for upgrades, it doesn't apply it yet, which is dumb. I still have to do that. So let's switch gears and get that working, so I can make sure the rest of this stuff actually works. So customize window, we want to upgrade placed. We want to actually apply it. So how are we gonna do that? So once we place it, it's on our ship. So we're going to want to so player instance already has all of our save data. Fuck. I'm just thinking, because we're only getting partial save data in this window. So you can see once we player instance, so we're doing update values based on save data. We're not doing a full update, so it's not going to store. So I'm going to have to mutate the player data here, which is fine because it originates here. So it's not used because every time this util load player save, it loads it from the file fresh and returns it. So this player data originates here. So it's not like I'm going to be mutating a dictionary somewhere else, in theory. Okay, so I think we can make this work. So if we just modify what we need, so what do we do on ship? So for our save, we're just doing get upgrade save data. And this would be nice if this was part of the class, which we might make it part of the class. So I'm going to say upgrade data. I'm going to copy this. Let's go to our upgrade class, which doesn't really have anything in it right now. Upgrade. Let's make a method. Func get upgrade save data. And we're just going to take in no values. We are going to return a dictionary because that's what we are saving it as. And we're just going to say var. Actually, you know what? No, we're just going to return this. Return. We can get rid of this. We can highlight this, shift tab it to back it up. And we don't need to include upgrade here because that's us. So I'm going to do this. And that should be all we have to do. Let's see. Fetch it. I just returns the basic data about this upgrade that we need to save in the player save file. Oops, save that. There we go. Sweet. So now I'm going to refactor ship to go through, and we are going to say append, and we're going to do upgrade.get upgrade save data, because that's what it should give me. So now that we have this method on upgrade, I should be able to get this easily from within our customized window. And then I should be able to just update that array in player data. And then once we're done with this entirely, then whenever we leave this window, then we can update the player stuff, right? I don't think we have to worry about the location because I think main is already handling that. Because it's going to set our location to be our last location, which is not in the player save. It is, I believe, world save. So, yeah, I don't know. Format the string. Okay. So we want to go to upgrade placed. So we are going to update our player data. So what we're going to do is, since mass is stored as a negative value on the upgrade, we can just add it to our used mass value. No, wait. That's backwards. We need to make it an absolute, which makes it positive, and then we can add it to, well, no, that's not correct either. Because some upgrades might free up mass. So I'll just have to do it. Okay, so player data dot upgrade save data dot append. So we're going to append that to it, and we're going to append the node that we just added, which is going to be node dot get upgrade save data. Okay, that should give us the dictionary that we're going to append to it. So then we're doing the upgrade, we added that. So now we're going to say player data dot used mass, and we're going to subtract the value. So we're going to say minus equals, and this is going to be, see, this is where we have to keep checking this shit as well. I don't know, I feel like I'm making a huge mess. I feel like I have spiraled dramatically in the last hour. So I think I'm going to be proactive. I think Monday just kicked my ass. I think I am going to just put some notes in my main about where I left off. So I still have to work out how to handle required tags. I still have to prevent overlapping. I still have to prevent purchasing multiple upgrades. And I still haven't even gotten actually having it take effect. So I don't think I've accomplished anything in this stream yet. This whole like hour, what, 2 hours that I've been streaming? 2.5 hours. I haven't actually accomplished anything, which is frustrating. But I feel like I'm just making a huge mess of things right now. I feel like I'm just trying to take shortcuts to get something working that's not going to work at all, because I keep running into more pitfalls of things I've taken shortcuts on before. Oh, future me is going to love me, tell you that. Because past me is an asshole. So yeah. But we are getting closer. We are getting closer. Let me just think about this more. So upgrade placed. We need to get the saved data. And then we have to apply whatever upgrade, which means going through something like this again. And that just feels wrong. Huh, okay. So now I basically have to purchase it, adjust use mass, update save. I don't have to apply all the upgrades necessarily. I just have to adjust the mass for this. And everything does have a mass value. So what we're going to do is I'm going to have to do more thinking on this. This could be a problem. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to specify why it's a problem. So let's say, what if this upgrade frees up some mass? What if this upgrade affects cargo space? No, actually no, because that would be handled in apply upgrade. So I think I don't have to do this at all. I just have to worry about updating it on the instance, applying the upgrades. So if we go to ship, reset and apply all upgrades, or even just apply upgrade. This isn't correct. Shit. So how I have this written here is if upgrade has mass, if upgrade.effects has mass space, it's going to apply that mass space. What I should specify is on the upgrades, this mass space here, this needs to actually be used mass, not mass space. Or does it? Maybe I'm overthinking it. Let's go back. So ship. Let's take a look at where we are declaring mass space. This is how much mass we actually have used. Cannot exceed mass space. And we have a mass space modifier too. What the fuck am I doing? I'm not even using that. Holy shit, guys. What the hell was I thinking? Okay. So I have to reconcile what the hell I was thinking with mass, because I got 3 different variables right now. I have one that tracks how much the ship has by like at base level. I have another which tracks the modifier in case something does add more mass to it. And then I have something that tracks how much mass we're currently taking up, which is used to determine like how much mass we have left that we can apply. Just messy. So I need to, let's see, where am I determining whether or not I can actually place something? I think that's on placer. Is it? I don't think so. No, that is on the upgrade selection when we are creating the buttons to even select it. So I'm going to have to rethink my logic here. So available mass, this is going to have to be player data mass space plus, and I don't even have that shit available. Fuck. So I could probably get rid of that mass space modifier. So mass space minus used mass. Okay. So then if upgrade data has effects, and we're going to say used mass is what it should do, And this is, I don't have to make it a positive. We're just gonna do that. So if available mass is less than the mass that this would use, that should work. So now I can go here to my upgrades list and I can change mass space to just be used mass. Used mass. And we can change this from a negative to a positive. Copy. Copy. And everything just takes up 5 mass right now. Well, I was just testing this anyway. So there's not too much like variation here so far. So now we have used mass, okay? So now we have the effects of used mass. Which is not really the effect. That's also kind of a price. So maybe I should move that out of here, I think. I should move it up there. So used mass, how much mass is it required? Maybe I should change it to required mass. We'll say, yeah, I'm going to name that to required mass, or just rec mass, how much mass is required. So I'm going to copy this. See, I keep changing my mind all the time. So we're going to get rid of that. Beneath base price, I'm going to add that there. I'm going to adjust my template. So in case it does increase mass space, we can still handle that. And then we have our required mass, which I'll put as that. So I already put something that would limit it. I'm not using that yet. We have how much mass it requires. So I have that. Let's go back here. And it's no longer in effect. So we can just say used mass, or actually no, required mass. And yeah, so that should be fine. Required mass. Insufficient mass space available on your ship. Okay, cool. So we got that. Determine if our ship has required tags. I still have a big old fatty to do for that. So if this is not in effect, and we are no longer searching for mass space, we are searching for required mass. So we'll say, hey, does this have the required mass? Okay. So now we're handling that. So if we go back to our customize window, we can go back to actually placing it. So then we can say, we're passing in the upgrades, the upgrade data. So we're updating that. Player data used mass is going to plus equals, we're going to be appending another value to it, or increasing it. It's going to equal node dot upgrade. What was it called? Upgrade data. Upgrade data dot required mass. So everything should have that. So that should handle that. And then now our funds are stored in inventory data, I believe. Let's go back to our ship. Let's go back to save. I don't see funds in here. They are in inventory data. If we look at inventory data, we have funds. Okay. Funds. Much money we have. So we've used mass, and then we also have to do player data dot inventory data dot funds. and we are going to subtract the amount that this upgrade costs, which is node.upgrade data dot this is going to be base price. So we're going to have to calculate that modifier as well. So on our upgrade selection window, how are we calculating that? Where are we getting price mod? Locations list current location. Holy shit. Okay. So we are going to get, I'm going to make a variable called price modifier, which is what this is. Okay. Calculate the price. So we're going to do var. We have current location here. I think on this window we just have loc name or for location name. So again, I'm doing great for consistency. That's for damn sure. Jesus Christ. And then for the key, we have to get that from our upgrade data. So we're going to say node.upgrade data title. So that's the price modifier. And then we're going to say minus equals. I'm going to put this in in parentheses because I think we need it. Upgrade data. I think it's base price is what I set that as. So if we go to upgrades, we have base price. And we're going to say times price mod. The price modifier based on our location. So we're going to subtract that. Okay? And then in theory, it should be placed. So now we need to actually apply it to the ship though. So we have to apply that upgrade. So we are going to apply the upgrade to the ship. So we can do player instance dot apply upgrade. What does this take? This takes upgrade data, which is a dictionary. Okay, so then we can just do node.upgrade data. And that will apply the upgrade to our ship. And then we're going to have to refresh our UI. So how are we going to do that? Because a lot of this shit is done already. So that's fun. Hey Pavel, what's up? Welcome back. So yeah, so this is a mess. This is a hot mess. So we're gonna have to basically redo this whole thing here. So I should move all this stuff out to a function. That way I can just call it as needed. So I'm gonna make a UI or a function that is just called sometimes we need to update the UI to account for changes. So I'm going to make an internal function called update UI. Or maybe I should do, I'll just do update UI. Or maybe I'll do repopulate a, no, just update UI. That's fine. Update UI, and it's not going to take anything because we're already going to have all the stuff that we need in scope. It's not going to return anything either. And then so what we're going to do is I'm going to just put a friggin' pass here for now, put a big old fatty to do. And then we're going to move a lot of this shit into this function. So player data, we have that declared in scope. So that means as we make changes to it, it'll still be in scope. Player instance, as we make changes to that, that's also still in scope. So then we don't really have to worry about adding anything to the viewport or instancing anything. Update values based on save data. We don't have to worry about that necessarily, I think. What does that function do again? Okay, so that will... We will need to... I don't think we will need to do that until the end. Because we're going to be making changes to the player instance on the fly. So we don't need to do that again. We can keep that there. We don't need to worry about creating a camera. However, this whole fucking thing has to be moved there. So ship info label is declared up here. It is also in scope. Player instance is in scope. So all this stuff can be moved to our update UI method. Literally copied, pasted. Move that here. I'm going to select this stuff and make sure it's indented properly. I think it is. Yeah, it is. I'm going to get rid of this to do because it's now a to did. It's now a to done. So now I'm going to swap this stuff out for update our UI. So we're going to do update UI. See, that is a useless comment, but I still put it there because I typically read through chunks of like every chunk of what I'm doing. So whatever. I'm going to save that. That in theory should work. So now in our upgrade placed, we can go to, we can just say, let's see, what we got to do? Update UI. Now it's not going to work because every time we call update UI, so BB code is all set. That's fine. No worries there. However, we keep just appending stuff to our upgrades list. And if we never clear that out, we're going to have a stack of random shit, which is not going to be correct. So what we need to do is we need to prepare our upgrades list. So we're going to iterate through every upgrade we have. First, let's clear out any outdated entries. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to say for old upgrade in, what is it called? Upgrades list dot get children, which is going to return us the actual nodes, the actual references to the node. What the hell? I just got a notification that my son is trying to play a game on Steam. And his computer is right behind me. And he's not here. What the fuck is going on? I'll be right back. I'm gonna check this shit out. What the hell's going on? I read the wrong account. That's my oldest, who does have his laptop. So he's trying to play it again. I suspect that my youngest is trying to use it, though. I suspect my youngest is playing on it. Because my oldest is still running Windows on his laptop. And the game he was trying to run does not run on Linux because the developers did not enable the like easy anti-cheat flag or whatever. So whatever. Okay, back to what I was doing. Old upgrade. So we're going to clear this out. So we're going to say old upgrade dot queue free, which means get the fuck out of here. Save. So this should work now, in theory. So load, customizer ship. So we have some details here. This is going to be updated as we do it. Shopper upgrades. I'm going to pick like acceleration speed. I'm going to slap it on here, and it fails. How does it fail? Title on base dictionary. So get upgrade save data does not actually give us what we need. So where is that being called? Customize window 207. Player data, upgrade save data. Upgrade data.title. Why is it saying that's not there? Invalid get index title on base dictionary. Huh. Okay. So just for fun, I'm going to put a debug line here. I'm going to say print current values. And then I'm going to put upgrade data. I'm going to put it to do, remove debug line, save. Let's rerun it. And then I want to see what it outputs in our console. Load, customize, shopper upgrades, slap it on there, it crashes. What does it output? Nothing. Interesting. So I think with how I have this rigged up, our shipyard placer, we probably have to actually, so we're doing that. If it's an upgrade, I think we have to pass in the upgrade data from it as well. So thing name, we can use that. So we will say t.upgrade data equals, and then we will just do upgrades.list, and we will just put in thing name. So that should solve that issue. It's not a very elegant solution, but it should solve it. And it does. And our UI updated. So you can see here, it now says plus 0.5 for our acceleration speed. It's on our ship. So now, since it applied it, if we hit done and leave, it's not on our ship yet, because when we leave that window, we're not actually updating our saved data. We're not applying that update. So now what we have to do is whenever we close out of this customize window, we are going to have to apply our changes. And so what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to save our player data. So we're going to go to util.save player data, which I believe allows us to just pass in the dictionary itself, which it does. So then I can go to save player data, and I can just pass in our modified player data thing. And in theory, this should now work. I should now be able to apply upgrades. Shopper upgrades. We're going to get this, which makes our acceleration go zoom, zoom. And then once we're done, we leave. It doesn't still apply it. But if I go back in here, to my customize, well, what the shit fuck? So why is that not applying? Let's see. What's in our debugger? Condition name equals is true. Okay, why is that? Oh, I see. Fire sound group is not defined. Okay, that's no big deal. None of this shit's a big deal. This is all just some bullshit. So let's see, why is this not applying? So if we util save player data and we go back to our other screen, if we hit done, what does that do? Where does that bring us back to? So customize window. We're saving the player data. So load. Customize my ship. When we hit done, we're taken back to the location. And then once we leave, we save again, and we overwrite what's already there. Fuck. So let's take a look at my location UI to see what we are doing there. So where is it? Location window. So when we leave, we are emitting a signal that we are exiting. So that is in our main. So location exit, we are clearing the scene, and we are loading the game. So load game gets our world data and our player data. So in theory, our player data should be updated by customize window. So why is it not showing it? So I guess, let's see, can we do a find in files? That'd be nice. I guess I can control shift F. I want to find util.save util.save. I want to find everything. So in the buy ship window, customize window, and trade window. So if we're saving that data, are we loading it? Let's take a look at our util.load player data. Save player data, load player save. So we're just getting everything from the file, parsing it as a dictionary. That's our player file data, and that's what we're getting back. And let's take a look at our ship. Am I applying all of that stuff? Yes, I am. So why is it not updating? Something else has to be saving it after the fact. So let's just see. Let's go back up here and let's see how many times. Let's see. To do remove debug. So I'm going to do a print. Oh my God, player save. Overwritten. I'm going to do new data. And then I'm just going to include the player data that's being written. I'm going to save that. Load. So I'm going to go to Bilbo's Wagons, customize your ship, shop for upgrades. I'm going to slap an upgrade on here. I still have that to do to remove from the current values. That's fine. I'm going to hit done, which didn't seem to call the save. Excuse the fuck out of me. Why didn't that do anything? Is my util save player data just not being called at all? I mean, I'm calling it. Right frickin' here. Util, save player data. Util, I want you to print. Is there something that prevented me from printing? No. Why didn't it print? Let's get rid of this debug line. Save that while I'm at it. Let's run the game again. I want to test it. We're going to load. Bilbo Swaggins. Customize your ship. Shop for upgrades. So it's showing up here now. That's awesome. Done. It did not... Did not do it. I'm calling the function. Why? So I wonder if queue free. Oh, this is place or canceled. I'm an idiot. I'm putting it in the wrong spot. Save. So on button done, we want to emit signal. The customize window is done, but before we do that, we want to apply our changes. Okay, now let's test it. Load. Customize a ship. Shopper upgrades. I'm going to put this on here. I'm going to hit done. Player save has been overwritten. We're going to leave. And then we're trying to apply effects. So upgrade data.effects. Is not present. So for you in upgrades, so we're doing that. So we can, what are we doing here? Let's just do upgrades.getChildren. Let's get rid of this here. Save. That's not going to fix the issue, but it will make it seem a little better. So iterate through each upgrade and apply the effects. So for upgrades, get children. We're saying is instance valid. If it's not, then we're skipping iteration. So we have a valid instance. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, just for purposes, debug purposes, print you upgrade data to do remove debug line, right? So I'm going to say trying to apply upgrade. Okay, save, load. So it fails instantly because it's trying to apply upgrade. So the upgrade is not there. Doesn't have the actual upgrade data set. So why is that? So when we are creating the ship, update values based on saved data. So we're calling reset and apply all upgrades, but the upgrade stuff isn't. So reset and apply all upgrades. That's not gonna cut it. Oh, here we go. So we're setting the position. And we also need to do u.upgrade data equals, and then we can do this upgrade list save. That should fix it. Holy shit, we have a working upgrade on our ship. It looks stupid. But here we are. So now if I go back into my shipyard, you can see we have this upgrade on our ship now. It's there. So also, I'm going to shop for another upgrade. I'm going to put in a deceleration upgrade. I'm going to put this like right here because that's going to look funny. Done. Leave. So now I should slow down a lot faster without having to do anything. It's not decelerating. Why is it not decelerating? Did I cancel it out? If so, that's a bummer. I got to apply that the right way then. Oh, I see. Deceleration is only hit when you press S. I see. I'm an idiot. Customize my ship. So we have twice the deceleration speed now. So if I were to just blast off here and then I slow down just by pressing S, that works that works pretty good. Which can be handy for if you're trying to like land at planets easier. Cool. Okay, upgrades are working. It is god awful how it's implemented, but it's working. So now I'm gonna have to clean that up big time. But there's still some things I have to figure out. So let's go back to our main. Let's go back up here where I left off. So I need to actually have it take effect. Done. So that part's done. So this is basically done. I can get rid of that part. So I still have to work out required tags. So let's work that out real quick. So that is on, I believe, upgrade selection screen is where that is. Upgrade select. We have to determine if our ship has the required tags. So we should have that data available in our player data now. So if we go back to ship, to our save function, we are now saving tags and they should be available, which is good. So trying to apply upgrade. Let's go back to our customize window and let's go to our list here. We're gonna remove this debug line since now we know that we're actually calling it. For what are the other to-dos that I had? Trying to apply upgrade. So this is what, place replaced? Trying to apply upgrade. Might be on the upgrade itself. No, it's not. Where did that go then? Trying to apply upgrade. That's in my ship code. That is in reset and apply all upgrades. Here we go. So we can get rid of that. Get rid of that debug line. Save. There we go. Keep something clean around here because the rest of this code ain't clean. I'll tell you that. So we need to go to upgrade selection. Now we have to determine if the ship has the required tags. Let's space this out a little bit so that we can visually breathe. Okay? And yeah, all that's good. There we go. So now let's take a look at this to-do. Determine if we have required tags. So what we're going to do is we're going to just iterate through every one of our required tags, and we're going to see if the ship has it. Because chances are the upgrade is going to have less required tags than the ship is going to have. So it makes more sense to iterate only through like 3 tags as opposed to like 6 or 7 that a ship might ultimately have, depending on what's going on. Either way, it's not too big of a deal, but trying to at least make this somewhat performant. I'm getting shit from everywhere, but I think it's working well. It's just, it's not clean. It's not readable in the code. I have to go like 6 different fucking files to get everything. So yeah. So let's do for, I'm just going to do rec tag in, and we're going to do, let's see, upgrade data. So we're still in the scope of this. So I'm just going to do UI.upgrade data dot required tags. I think that's what it is, right? Yeah, required tags. So in this case, it only has 2. So we're just doing 2 iterations. And for every one of this, we are saying, actually, no, we're going to have to do this. We're going to say var valid, and we're going to set this as a Boolean. We're going to set to be true. And if any of these are wrong, it fails. And it's not valid. So I guess I don't need the valid, because, well, what we could do is we could say, hey, if was it player instance or player data dot tags dot has, and we can do required tag, because again, this is iterating through required tags, which is an array of strings, and we are just going to get the required tag. So this is a string. So we're saying, hey, if it has the required tags, so let's do if player data, and I'm going to say not. If it doesn't have the required tag, missing a tag. So stop execution. Actually, no, we should disable button and stop further iteration on this loop. Basically what we're doing. So we can say UI dot disabled text equals let's see, incompatible is basically what it is. This upgrade is not compatible with your ship. And then I'm going to just break out of this loop. That way it doesn't keep iterating through. And then we're just going to do that. And I think that should do it. So just to test, if I go into my upgrades and I add a required tag, like just a bogus tag, like tags biological. If I add that, I should be able to go into my ship, shopper upgrades. This upgrade is not compatible with your ship. Okay, interesting. So none of them are. Why? Let's take a little look-see. So upgrade selection. I want to... I'm going to do a debug line here. So print player data dot tags. And I'm going to say tags, comma, and a big old fatty to do, remove debug line. Okay, so as we load, we're going to load this and jump in, save, customize your ship, shop for upgrades. Interesting. So we have freighter, electrical, mechanical, and ship. But we do not have synthocracy. Okay. So maybe we shouldn't have that as a required thing. Maybe I should just change this to be electrical instead. Because I think that would be better. Because as long as it has these things, it should still work. Oh, actually, what am I doing? Yeah. We're doing that. Electrical. We'll do this one. We'll do this one. And then this is technically a synthocracy upgrade. I might add that tag as well. But yeah, for now, let's see if it works. Load. Customize. Shop for upgrades. Still insufficient. We have electrical, mechanical, and ship. And we're a freighter. What else are we missing? Oh, required tags. Electrical and mechanical. So why is it still failing? If player data.tags.has what if I change this? Let's do this. Oh, nope, no, not what I want to do. So let's do this. We're good. Next iteration. So let's do continue here. Just to make sure that that operator wasn't doing something weird, right? So we're going to customize ship, shop upgrades. Oh. Might help if I read my own message. Insufficient space available on your ship. This upgrade is not compatible with your ship. Okay. So I don't have any space for more upgrades. So I could sell the upgrade, but I don't have that implemented yet. So we've handled that. Let's close this. Let's go back into our main. And so we handled required tags. I still have to prevent overlapping. And I also have to prevent purchasing multiple times. So I think I can do that one pretty easy. So let's go to upgrade selection. And let's see, can we afford, let's do this before we do anything else. How about that? Are we already at the max limit for this upgrade? So how am I going to track this? So upgrade save data. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to do var count equals an int. It's going to be 0. And I'm going to just iterate through all the upgrades in our player save data. So it's going to be for shit. I'm losing my mind here. For upgrade in player data dot upgrade save data. So this is going to give us a dictionary. So just to be clear, I'm going to call upgrade dictionary. And I'm going to say pass for now to do. So this is going to upgrade save data. So if we go back to our save, our ship, go to our save function, we are getting upgrade save data here, which is an array. Why is that not going? So I don't think I can specify a type here, can I? No, it does not. Cannot specify a type that you expect in a for loop, which is a bummer. So we have to go to our upgrade. And this does just return this. So we can say upgrade name. That's what we can basically do. Let's go back to our customize window. No. Great selection. So pass to do, we need to basically say if upgrade dict dot, what was it, upgrade name equals the key that we're in right now, then we need to count plus equals 1, just to make sure I have that right. Upgrade name, and then we can say if count is greater than or equal to our limit, so upgrades dot list key, I'm just using UI upgrade data, so I'll do that here for everything. So UR upgrade data dot limit, I think is what I called it. So if we go to upgrades, limit 1. So then we can say we already have too many. So then we can do UI dot disabled text equals let's see, what should this be? Max, say limit reached. What's a good way of, what's a good verbiage for that? Limit reached. So basically I'm trying to convey that you can't get this upgrade because you already have too many of it. You are already at the max amount. You are at the limit. We'll just say cannot install any more of this upgrade. Yeah, we'll just do that. Save. So let's see what it does now. So I'm gonna make a new game actually. So save. Let's go hit new, overwrite old save, sure. We'll go to our thing here, customize. So this upgrade's not compatible with our ship because I still have that thing there. So now if I add a rear thruster overtune right there, go to shop for upgrades, this still isn't detecting it. But if I hit done and go back in here, it should now say can't install any more of this upgrade. So I think what I have to do is I did find a bug to where stuff is not synchronizing. So let's take a look at upgrade selection. So we're getting player data in our dictionary by loading the player save. So in our customize window, I think that whenever we apply an upgrade, I think that we should probably just save the data then and there. So I think I'm going to get this out of here. I'm going to save it. And then in our upgrade placed, I'm going to apply our changes, and then we can update the UI. And it should be all hunky-dory, I think. Load. So you see here, I'm just going to start a new game. So, new, overwrite old save, jump in, customize. So you can see, okay, we're going to buy this, slap it on there, done. So now, there we go. We fixed that bug. Perfect. Cannot install any more of this upgrade because we already have enough of it. Nice. Cool. So the only other upgrade that I can install is this one. Put that there. And then this upgrade's not compatible, and I don't have enough mass. I don't have enough mass available on my ship to be able to install it. So that's working. This is stupid. I love how stupid my ship looks with just these upgrades on there. This is so dumb. Amazing. All right, so customize your ship. So this is working. Awesome. We're gonna hit done. And I'm just gonna start a new game real quick. New, overwrite old save. Yes, we're gonna land, we're gonna leave just for fun. Exit. Good to go, right? So let's go to our main again. So we prevented it from installing it multiple times. Perfect. So now the big thing is I need to also be able to sell upgrades. So we have to be able to do that. I think we can get that knocked out tonight. I want to start looking at how we're going to accomplish preventing overlapping. So do I still have Claude pulled up somewhere? I don't think I do, fortunately. I'll just pull it up in a new window here. So let me pull up in a new window, and then what I'll do is I'm going to bring this over to my other side because I have to sign in. I don't want you shiesty fuckers to see my shit, so do it this way. Claude. Sign into Claude. Let's see what Claude says. Oh, look at that. He already recognizes me. Cool. So we're going to ask Dear Claude. Hi, Claude. I would like some advice on some ways to tackle an issue I'm having with a feature I'm developing in my game. Here's the deets. So, I'm using Godot 3.6. It's a 2D top-down space RPG. The feature I'm working on is placing upgrades and weapons onto your ship. The feature is working. However, there is a detail that I'm unsure of how to handle. The detail is I wish to prevent overlapping upgrades and weapons. Also, I'd like to be able to determine or to ensure that the upgrade is fully, how do I describe it? That the bounds of the upgrade sprite are completely inside the area 2D's collision shape on the ship itself. Here's some examples of the pain point I'm experiencing currently. So, I can place an upgrade on a ship where the upgrade is just barely touching the ship. I'll say it's basically only detecting a collision. Right? Boom. Okay. I can place upgrades and let's see, on top of each other. I'd like, so, which is not desired. I can do the same thing with weapons. Do you have any ideas on how to solve this dilemma? Let's see what Claude says. Good old Claude Rooney. This is a classic spatial constraint problem in game development. Here are several approaches you can use to solve both overlap prevention and bounds checking. Full containment check. So let's see. So first thing it's saying is let's get the rectangle. That doesn't seem like it's going to work right. So for example, get rect. So let's say my ship is a node 2D, right? So let's look at documentation for node 2D, okay? So there's no get rect here, but if we go to canvas item, there should be a get rect function, which is a funny way of saying it's get rectangle, right? I don't see a get rectangle. It's not part of the node, is it? Because it's that wouldn't make any sense. So it needs to be canvas layer, and it's not only inherited by. Let's go look at node 2D again. Hang on. Oh, canvas item. That's right. So node 2D. So we don't have that. However, we're talking about sprites. So let's take a look at sprite. So sprite does have a region rectangle. Does texture have a get rect? No. So right off the bat, Claude is mistaken because there is no. Wait, we're talking about collision shape 2D. So maybe that does have. Let's go take a look at collision. I have collision polygon. So maybe let's check area 2D. I don't have area 2D, so let's go to ship. Do I have anything that is detecting? I know projectile has something. On area 2D entered. So area 2D, bam. Show me the docs. So area 2D does not have any such thing, but it does inherit from collision object. Collision object does not have any get rectangle method. Inherits from node 2D. Node 2D does not have any get rectangle method. Does it? No. And canvas item does not have any get rectangle directly. So right off the bat, what AI is suggesting to me is no bueno. So that's not going to work. Grid-based system. I don't want to do a grid-based system. Overlap detection with existing items. So again, we're pulling out some bogus get item rectangle function that doesn't exist. Visual feedback. Right. So AI doesn't know how to do it. So full containment check. I mean, that does give me some useful terminology to maybe. So let's go take a look at area 2D again. I want to see what signals we have. We have something called area shape entered. Requires monitoring to be set to true. Area shape exited. body entered, body exited. So we have area entered. Emitted when another area 2D enters this area. Okay. So we already have monitoring set to true. So I'm not sure. I think area shape entered might be something that can be used. However, this has us, it returns us the area RID, the area 2D itself, the area shape index, and the local shape index. It returns a lot of stuff to me. And I'm not sure. Let's see. So now that Claude gave us this, let's look for Godot 3.6 full containment check. That's container check. That's useless. Thank you, Brave AI. Containers. That's not fine. So we'll just say Godot, how to tell if sprite is completely, let's say, how to tell if collision shape is completely engulfed in another collision shape. In Godot, you can use the overlaps body method. That's not a method. Thank you, though. Maybe it is in Godot 4, but for Godot 3.6, no. So let's read the documentation. So this is stable. Let's go to 3.6 because that's what we're running. And let's see. Let's go to getting started. Let's go to, like, I don't know. Let's see. Maybe something about collisions, right? So 2D. Movement, meshes, all that stuff. Okay, cool. How do we detect if we're colliding with something? That's what I want to know. Is it technically physics? Area 2Ds don't use physics because I don't need to. It's development, community. I don't want class reference. So let's say area 2D. Let's find what we have in documentation for that. Using area 2D. Here we go. So this is it. This is in physics. Interesting. Okay. So let's see. Monitoring and monitorable overlap detection. Perhaps the most common use of area 2D nodes is for contact and overlap detection. When you need to know that two objects have touched but don't need physical collision, you can use an area to notify you of the contact. For example, let's say we're making a coin for the player to pick up. The coin is not a solid object. The player can't stand on it or push it. We just want it to disappear when the player touches it. Okay? To detect the overlap, we will connect, yeah, so area entered. Okay, so we're already detecting that. But second major use for area nodes is to alter physics. By default, the area won't do this, but you can enable this with the space override property. When areas overlapped, they are processed in priority order. Okay. Using these properties, you can create very complex behavior with multiple overlapping areas. Interesting. That's good to know. Not for this feature I'm working on, but good to know. Using these properties, you can create very complex behavior. So, yeah, good stuff. Awesome. but nothing in there that tells us how to fully detect if it's completely contained. I think Claude's first initial idea of using rectangles, which basically has the bounds, is a good one. However, not all shapes have that. So I think what I'd probably have to do is I'd probably have to get the strict bounds of the sprite, which could be pretty intensive. There is a type in Godot called bitmap, which it's a resource type. So we'll say resources. Let's go to bitmap. And bitmap does have this method that you can basically create it from an image alpha, and you can get the opaque to polygons. Which, fun fact, it says it does not have a method for this. It doesn't have a description for this method. It does. It just hasn't been released yet. I contributed it to the Godot project. It's my one and only contribution. But basically, this opaque to polygons method uses a marching squares algorithm to basically detect, like, to determine like what squares in this bitmap are active. Because the bitmap, rather than storing like a value of like the color, it just stores 1 or 0. Like, yes, there's something here, or no, it's not. It's blank. It's opaque, right? So this allows you to get the actual bounds of what your sprite is. And then I could probably use that bitmap and compare it with the bitmap of the ship sprite to make sure that it's fully encompassed, which would be a pretty demanding process, like every step, I think, like every frame, right? But it's only on the update screen. It's only on the upgrade screen when you're applying an upgrade on a ship, which only happens some other time. And that's the only thing you're doing when you're doing that. So I think that is an acceptable time to have a process intensive process, basically a resource intensive process. I think that makes sense. But I'm just spitballing out of my ass. I don't know if that would actually work or not. But I think my idea is probably better than Claude's, unfortunately. I mean, grid-based system, that's basically what the bitmap is. Except I'm not going to do their little world to grid bullshit here. That was stupid. That's not a thing. I don't think. So, overlap detection with existing items. So yeah. Either way, I think it's going to be a problem for another night because I am all tuckered out. But let's do one last thing. So I can't solve this yet, but I think I could probably rig up selling the upgrades. So let's rig that up. So customize window. We're going to have a button. So where are we specifying that? So here we are. We're adding the button. Okay. So now I'm going to connect the signal. So we're going to do button.connect. The signal that we're going to connect is pressed. We're going to connect it to ourself. And we're going to make a method that is underscore cell upgrade. Okay. And then we're going to have to pass something to it to denote what upgrade we are selling. And you can see here it says binds is an array. So then this is going to take a fourth argument. and we can put in an array of like what other things we want to pass into it. So, oh shit, I am definitely tired. So let's see. We need to pass in what the upgrade is. And I think we can make it work with that. So let's just pass that in. And then we're going to create a signal connector function down here. Let's see, signal connector function for when we want to sell an upgrade. So we're going to say func sell upgrade. I think that's what I called it up there, right? Yeah, sell upgrade. And this is going to take a parameter or an argument of upgrade name. Actually, no, this needs to actually have the actual ID so we can get rid of it. So it needs to have the actual frickin' node. So we can pass in the upgrade. Because the upgrade's going to have that data anyway. So we're going to pass that in. I'm going to save that for now. This is going to be broken, obviously. So let's name this upgrade, which is going to be uptype node 2D. It's technically going to be uptype upgrade, but it does inherit from node 2D, so this type safety still works. I don't specify returns on connector functions. I don't think it messes with Godot 3.6, but I know that Godot 4, how they revised how connector functions work, they now use callables. If you try to pass a function that returns void as a callable, it like shits the bed. I don't know why. I haven't looked too deep into it, but I've always been kind of weirded out by specifying return types on signal connector functions since then. So I'm just not going to mess with it. I'm going to play it safe. So sell the upgrade. We have the upgrade. So what do we need to do? We need to specify a pop-up. It's actually more work than I thought. I'm going to call it tonight. So let's just do to do prepare confirmation prompt that shows how much money you will get and mass, and then to do if the prompt is accepted, basically, then delete this node, recalculate stuff, and save data. Recalculate stuff. So let me just put this in a list because I'm not going to read all this. That's a lot of words. Too bad I'm not reading them. Let's see. So we're going to do create a pop-up. I'm going to put pass on here because, yeah. Actually, I'll put pass at the bottom. Still works. So to do, create pop-up, a confirmation prompt. And then I'll put as this, detail, show how much money you will receive. I'll have to calculate that. Show how much mass space you will recover. We need that. And yes, let's see. So a prompt is going to have confirmation prompt has yes or no, basically. So that's implied. So got to have that. And then show any effects you will lose. Okay. That way you can make an informed decision about selling your upgrade or not. And then we need to, if accepted, delete the node from the ship. We need to adjust our save data. And we need to adjust our save data and recalculate stuff. Once it's done, we need to overwrite our save file. There you go. So we'll put all that in to do. I'm going to go back in here in main and started this, but wasn't feeling up to it right now. Cool. Awesome. Upgrade placement is working. So once I figure out these last two things, hopefully I can clean it up. And then from there, I can do something similar for weapons. And then ship customization will be done. It will be functional. There might still be some tweaks to make after it, like especially as I start adding more upgrades. Maybe I might think of more effects. I still have to handle all that. That will be play it by ear basis. So we'll keep going there. Oh my god. Oh shit. And then once I get this done, then I can make another devlog, which will be a pretty big devlog. But yeah, for now, I think I'm done. I think I've saved everything. So let's go ahead and pop open the root of the project here. Let's go to open in terminal. And then we'll just do some git commands here. Git status. So you see we have a bunch of changes that we made. Git add everything in the project. We'll do another git status. So we modified lots of stuff. So I'm just going to put git commit -m. So what did I do this time? I basically did a lot. Pushed through getting upgrades to work. Had to refactor some stuff to make it work. Still some to do. Wow. 28 files changed, 282 insertions, 1,192 deletions. I think that was because I removed all of the hidden collision nodes and occluder. I think that's what all that is. So then we're going to do git status again. Should say working tree clean. We're going to git push origin and main. There we go. Looks like we are good to go. So that is now on my GitHub in the cloud. So that was last night. I refresh. Now we have this today. Perfect. Cool. So just in case I get hit by a bus or something like that, or my computer fails, it's all on the cloud. I don't know why I said get hit by a bus. That wouldn't do anybody good because no one. This is private repo. No one can access it without like my two-factor authentication and shit. So if I get hit by a bus, we'd be screwed. Anyway, that's where I'm going to call it for tonight. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching and hanging out. I appreciate it. Oh, I think tomorrow I'm going to take a break from game development. I'm going to continue with my Terraria Master Mode or Legendary Mode run for the Worthy. Because I think I'm just going to chill and play some games. Because especially tonight, I'm feeling that brain fog to where I just feel like I'm making things worse. But now especially after tomorrow, judging by how work has been this week, my brain's probably going to be fried. So I'm going to unwind and play some Terraria tomorrow. And yeah, if you haven't already, you can check out my Discord. Link is in the description. Got lots of cool stuff going on. We got stuff happening. Again, if nothing else, just join for the dope ass memes. I got some good memes in here. They're great. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. I will catch you in the next stream. Have a good night.